by Wings, very mobile on the map. For that Yeef, just team fight pressure coming in. So Navi, they're actually able to get these really good picks in the first game to come back because of that Yeef. That was what set it up with the Ice Queen Wand build and that real world manipulation, basically getting everyone in that square slowed up, and plus that immobility effect when you leave it. That is the reason that they've been able to just isolate these targets, and that is crucial to their victory. They need to pick it up again. If they don't, they need to start playing for the other things. They can't go for these head-to-head, full-on fights.
Well, I mean, that's highly dependent on the draft, right? Because so far, this is the first time we are seeing, they swapped over. Blue side has been extremely powerful for either one of these teams. Hayabusa got let through as well, which is not something we usually see these days, especially here at M3.
Yeah, the Hayabusa with the first pick, this is a hero that you usually ban against the top teams, right? But I think that it is Navi just maybe forgetting that they needed to ban that kind of hero. And this wasn't the first time that Malvinas actually played it. Malvinas played this before in the group stages, were successful with it, at least to some degree. And for Navi, if they want to go for marksman again, I think that you need to ban assassins, like at least the meta assassins. Maybe you let go of Roger, your Beretta, Lancelot, but with Ling and Hayabusa, those are the two heroes that just really punishes those greedy marksman picks.
Well, it's time to get into that draft and find out what it's going to be. It's going to be Navi on the blue side and Malvinas Gaming on the red. Natan immediately banned out with a quick reply from Malvinas Gaming, getting rid of the Paquito.
Of course, the Paquito for defender. Yeah.
Absolutely. I do think that the Yeef should be banned next year for the side of Malvinas. I think it creates so much problem.
Your team is
It's very problematic for this team, but it is going to be Navi also respecting the Beatrix. They know they picked it up for themselves last game, forcing themselves to go for the two marksmen early on, and it's just made it such a huge problem for them because it was revealed at the start. Now, Malvinas Gaming, do they want to go for the same respect, or do they feel like, that first game, we had the lead for the most part, right? Even against the Yeef, do we want to take that risk once again? Maybe even break them up? It seems like they are going that route so far.
It also means that Navi might be considering getting the Clint earlier on, as Malvinas will definitely get that and take it away from them as soon as they can. Also, Matilda is a hero that Malvinas really likes to play. Something that Navi might consider banning out, as it is a great hero for Malvinas. So far in the first two games, we see Malvinas control the early stages. And this is something that we also mentioned during the Keys to Victory. Have them control the early stages of the game, start laning stage as well as the mid game, eventually take over the match. Game 1, they weren't successful in doing so, but Game 2, they were. And this is off of heroes that are generally great in the early stages. Why Matilda is
your
also
team is banning.
Eve. Now we're seeing Eve getting banned out by the side of Navi. We look over back to Malvinas Gaming, and this is the thing. Do they ban out that Farsa? Do they start opening up these, A-tier, A-list mages, Lunox, Nagura, Loi? Possibly.
With the bans of Navi, I can't help but think that they really are gunning for that Clint first pick. Imagine this, they ban out two of the heroes that can, match up against that, and then Eve.
I mean, I suppose, but so far, Adrian, it doesn't really matter about the matchup. Adrian has been outclassing Lil a little bit, even in unfavorable matches. So even if it's Brody and Clint, I feel like it's going to be a repeat of that process all over again. But here we go. Hayabusa being banned out by Malvinas Gaming.
Yeah, so both of the heroes that actually granted them the success, the Yeev and the Hayabusa, have been banned away. And now they're going to pick up the Esmeralda for themselves. MVG, now that the Esmeralda has been picked, naturally, usually they go for the Matilda. This time around, I feel like they need to step away from the Matilda. Maybe go for the Farsa once again right now. It is also a very good hero onto that Esmeralda with a lot of the burst and the mobility that adds on to that dynamic that they want to go for these crazy fights in the early stage. They need a mid laner that can roam and clear the mid lane as fast as possible.
Yeah, Farsa is definitely good here. It also is a great combo if ever they want to go for something along the lines of a Clint themselves.
Yes.
Because it also covers, it gives them coverage. That's what I'm trying to say.
I think that too, but here we go. Malvinas Gaming going to be locking in the Farsa this time round, as well as the Clint, as called by Wolf. I think, Navi, this might be another Selena Sabo game? Potentially? Maybe?
That is good because it, the Farsa can stand still. The arrow is going to be, it's going to be great with that one. Also, the Matilda.
Yeah.
They can pick it up
Oh
themselves.
yeah,
Exactly.
Matilda's wide open.
Yeah, they can go for the Matilda or the Selena. It really does matter. It just, it comes down to what Sawo is feeling right now. If he's feeling crazy, flow state moment like the first game, just go for the Selena. I feel like with the Abyssal Trap, you will be able to catch that Farsa roaming all across the map, but that Phoveus though. Now, let's talk a little bit about that. Right now, no dash heroes for Malvinas Gaming. They can just stir away from that. And that Phoveus pick, do you think it's risky? Do you think... Because right now for me, I personally just really don't like that Phoveus pick this early on, but the Matilda, as we mentioned, will come through.
I want to add to that because I don't like the Phoveus at all because of the fact that you kind of reveal already your double side lane combination,
Yes.
right? Obviously, I think Navi is already looking towards that Phoveus anyways because the way that they see it is that they first pick the Esmeralda so that it will not be snatched by Malvinas. Eventually, they will get the Phoveus. Again, no dashes just yet.
Your team is
Blue is the
banned.
answer. So they will just make sure that this Clint is going to be covered heavily. And Sing was phenomenal with that glue, even getting the MVP in that first game. So far for Navi, there's really no straight up answer to the glue. So this might be a great pick for Malvinas.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm with you guys on this Phoveus pick. Like I was thinking maybe they were considering letting go of Matilda for Malvinas Gaming to at least say, hey, at least there's an enabler on your side, and Phoveus can maybe do something. We might sacrifice his laning phase, and we can go move on from there. But it's rather interesting. I think it's rather interesting. Malvinas Gaming this time going to be on the draw for this second ban phase here. It's going to be the Lancelot. Yep, it definitely makes sense. They want to get rid of these early game junglers to make sure that they can kind of control that pressure.
One thing that we can say though for Navi, the way that they beefed up when it comes to shield absorptions and also just the raw HP that you can get from both Phoveus as well as the Esmeralda, the Lunox or heroes like Lunox might not be considered by Malvinas Gaming anymore because you already have the Farsa as well as the Clint, so there's really no spot for the Lunox anymore. That also means that we can see Navi choosing a mid lane marksman perhaps or a gold lane marksman. Actually, they can't have any more gold lane marksman now. Maybe they can look for something like a Yi Shin in the jungle. So you already have beefy side laners, right? A marksman in the middle as the jungle role, that could be a choice for Navi.
And I'm seeing them, they're getting rid of disengage. I want to make sure if we go in really, really hard here. They already have the Circling Eagle as a potential enabler for at least one person on the side from Malvinas Gaming to trigger the demonic force here. Getting rid of Rafaela is a good shout. Malvinas Gaming, I feel like... What else could they go for here, Mirko?
Honestly, Malvinas Gaming, they just want to get rid of the assassins, right? Again, from the Navi's composition, they really want to put an emphasis on diving to that back line. You see from the Matilda, the Esmeralda, and obviously that Phoveus. But right now, for Malvinas, they want to go for those assassin bands or perhaps those fighter bands that can just dive to the back line and deal some damage. But for Navi, there's one band that they're overlooking, I feel like, right now. It is that Estes, all right? If you do really want to dive into that back line, full-on, one-dimensional draft, get that Estes out of the way. That is a huge hurdle for you if you don't get it out of the way. Again, you are not just going up against a Clint and a Farsa. There's still two more picks that Estes can come through, and the glue is super sustainable already. With the help of the Estes,
that's right,
it is going to make it really hard.
I see where you're coming from here, Mirko, and I think I'm buying into that idea. Estes is going to be a huge problem for Navi unless they have like a very clear answer, or at the very least an early game, which seems pretty much non-existent at this point when you have Phoveus and as well as the Esmeralda.
Their choices now for Navi, maybe they go for a mid lane, for a roam Ruby, so that, there's this, man, great call. There's the Ruby can make it so that you have at least a way to trigger that ultimate from the Phoveus, right? Or maybe they want to go for this Matilda as the roamer, get a Lu Yi. Again, the Lu Yi with a duality passive that can also trigger the demonic force. The only problem I have with that is that Navi will just really back on magic damage. They have to just really solve it. Very nice Hylas pick. Okay, for the roam. For Navi, my guess is this could be a Yi Shin Lu Yi.
Yi Shin Lo Yi. I'm thinking more like Roger Lo Yi.
Yeah,
that's a possibility as well.
You're right. Yeah.
This one's tough here because if Navi does decide to go for it, it's very highly executional and so dependent.
That's true.
Yeah, it's so dependent on making sure that, at the very least, Sawo finds a good engagement or something.
Oh, they're going for it.
What? You know what? They're going for Farmus instead.
100% win rate. Again, this is a very good pick for the side of Na'Vi. They want to dive. They want something to be able to force these team fights. And just like I said, if you want to beat Malvinas at their own game, you need something like this, especially considering that Malvinas has that glue. Remember the last time? It was Faramis Pride though. This time, it's Na'Vi picking it up. Malvinas Gaming, what do they need to round it up? I think Roger is a good pick, was a good pick until the Faramis came out. Now, with the Faramis, it is actually going to make it really hard for the Roger. As we all know, it's an all-in type of hero.
Speaking of which, Malvinas Gaming, I think they can actually go for Bane here if they
Bane.
wanted
Yes,
to.
yes, yes.
And Bane would completely shut out a lot of these engagements coming in from Navi, even though they do have the enablers of Matilda as well as Farmus this time, who does technically disposition people.
I think it's just between the Bane and the Roger, with Bane being the more objective side, Roger on the killing side of things. It is indeed the Bane. My goodness, we're getting more intelligent as days go by.
Look, it's just osmosis here. The more that the more dumber we're here, the more dumber we are here on the table, the more knowledge we're going to be absorbing in. And that's what we're hoping for. That's the idea, my guys. But don't worry about it. This game, it's for all the marbles. The pressure and stakes are extremely high for Na'Vi and Malvinas Gaming. It's going to come down to execution here for Na'Vi as Malvinas Gaming have a draft which plays for itself.
This is going to be very interesting to see. Ladies and gentlemen, Malvinas and Na'Vi with two good drafts, I feel. But I honestly, this game, I've said it before, 2 games in a row, I like Malvinas. This time, I'm going to have to side with Na'Vi. I feel like that Faramis was just very, very intelligent. They drafted themselves up into a corner with those 2 side lanes, but I think they rounded up pretty well. You know, they finished it up, they ended it off really well with the Faramis and the Yi Sun-shin to add a little bit more dimensions into their drafts.
The main weakness of Navi is that they're magic-based. Only the Yi Sun-shin deals the physical damage in the physical damage department. This means that both Hylos as well as this glue will play an instrumental role for Malvinas when it comes to just itemizing up. I mean, Radiant Armor is going to be there for sure, as well as the Oracle. Now, Steffi actually on this Hylos just trying to invade already, and my god, did they stop the Yi Sun-shin from farming.
Yep, I mean, that's what happened. Someone wanted to give Esmeralda at least a little bit of an advantage here. A defender coming in to make sure they punish this potentially, but with the Wanderers on the other side of the map, Steffi's not going to go down here, right? Steffi should be fine. He still has Flicker. He's all good. Quinn shows up and they back away.
Gotta say though, that is a Chad move by Steffi. He just went into the jungle and zoned Sunset Lover away. And actually, even though he is taken very low, he's forced to back away. It actually gives Bane a little bit more room to get that lead and to snowball in the first few minutes.
Yeah. It's all about just who gets ahead when it comes to both Bane as well as the Yi Sun-shin. They're completely unique heroes, right? There's really not much when it comes to like the similarities between both junglers, but they are both objective-based. Very strong when it comes to neutral objectives and very strong when it comes to sieging. The only advantage for Yi Sun-shin is that he has vision.
Speaking of which, speaking of that vision, Samuel as well as Nagib also trading very heavily on this mid side so far, but Lil as well as Adrian, this might be bad as Lil is in a lot of trouble. The Deadly Catch going to zone him off, and this is going to be a guaranteed kill here coming in. And you know, Quinn giving it over to Adrian, very nicely done. First blood by Razor going over to Malvinas Gaming.
Really good rotations by Malvinas Gaming, noticing that again, bottom side has that lead, got that level 4 instantly. Let's just go towards there, you know, using the Deadly Catch is going to be an easy kill. And again, the Phobius we really can't do anything until he gets that level 4.
Yeah. Teamfight composition-wise, this double quote-unquote fighter setup, at least for double tank setup for Navi in the side lanes, is great. But when it comes to lane matchup, I don't want to be the Phobius in this situation, specifically because there's a lot of poke from the Clint.
Here comes Singh. He's going to go into the split form to buy some time. He ends up dying just in time as Nagib has naturally countered that glue perfectly, but they do lose Esmeralda in the process. Deadly Catch has already come out as Nagib is going to be dropping down his ult to put as much damage on towards the board. Sunset Lover, he manages to take the turtle just in time. Nagib sacrifices his life for the greater good, and you can see that Lil in the middle of this fight with Steffi so far. Sawo bails him out of that situation as Harley is going to clear up topside.
Hey, Faramis Pride though! That was really good by the Faramis earlier on, but again, I feel like even though they got the turtle, it was still worth it for Malvinas Gaming. They were able to get a lot of that damage done, and actually, they got the really good trade. I think it was a 3-for-1 just now. Now, let's take a look at the items. With the 300 goldie that Malvinas has taken away, what can they do?
They can tank up, that's for sure. What they need to do now is to just wait for this Bane almost all the time. And the way that they can make the space for the Clint is to make their mid-lane trio stronger.
Yep, speaking of stronger here, Queen already be dropping down. It's going to be the Mountain Shocker, which opens things up. Giving the vision, Sawo sacrifices life for higher here as Nagib is going to be dropping down his all, but it's going to enable the rest. Adrian is in some trouble. Don't dash, my guy. If not, it's going to be the Demonic Force that has already crippled Quinn. Can he get for a little bit more? They could go for this dive, but it's so far 3v2. Sunset Lover and Lil will walk away.
Again, very, very intelligent by Malvinas Gaming, and especially by Adrian knowing the limits. Again, he lived with 1 HP. This kid is insane mechanically. You can see honestly, what is it called? The instinct from this guy? How, He doesn't even calculate these fights. He goes in, he thinks it's a good idea, and he just does it, right? That is the crazy moments that happens in these games. Now, we'll break it down.
Instant replay for sure. The Mountain Shower providing the vision allows Nagib as well as Sawa to dive through, and that Bane kill is so important for the set of for Navi. And they eventually will lose their Faramis, and Agent is able to just run away scot-free. But one thing that they did get from that is map control. That little opening for Navi allowed them to take down some of the outer turret energy shields in the bottom lane. However, Malvinas, with, I would say, the cleaner executions, will get the gold advantage.
Sunset Lover getting some good damage onto Adrian so far, but while we were in that replay, we did see that Lil actually dying overextending here with the rest of Navi as they wanted to pressure up that gold shield down on bottom side. Now the turtle is going to be contested for us. Steffi is in the middle of everybody. Feathered Airstrike going to try and cover him. Here comes the Demonic Force. Glorious Pathway is put down to give him a little bit more time as Sawo comes in straight away to enable Lil to get on top of the right targets here. Can he get on top of Quinn? Still no. The charge runs out just in time as they have zoned them out from the turtle as it has been slain by Natas Bin Sere, brought to you by the STB.
It's not just about the kills at that point. I think they just wanted to go for the turtle kill, honestly. Because you see them not really totally commit to that. The moment that Sawo jumped with the circling eagle, he just backed down when using the flicker. They allowed Lil to kind of zone out the members of Malvinas. So it's just, you know, smokes and mirrors, as they say, for the kill onto the turtle.
Again, for the side of Malvinas Gaming right now, they need to know that a lot of these neutral objectives can't be contested just because of the Faramis alone. Just by Faramis being there, right? He's going to pop the altar and you can't do anything. You want to commit onto those fights? No, you're not. You don't want to do that. So what do you need to do? If an objective is on the top side, Natus Vincere, they want to go for it. So we just go for the trades on the other side of the map. I think it's better for the composition either way, right? With Farsa and the Clint scaling up, it's going to be great. And now let's take a look at the items.
Yep, it's Molten Essence, the casual Molten Essence from Sing. He's gonna be completing the dominant size, which is perfect against the sustain of Navi. You want that for sure. And for Harley, they already have the Cloud of Destiny along these mages, so you're gonna have to just wait for maybe 2 more minutes before another fight breaks out. Unless, of course, there will be a push in the bottom lane, which is very unlikely, as Sunset Lover as well as Lil will be able to clear this way for sure.
Oh, look at that. Deadly Catch already out to potentially summon something or at least prevent a dive down on bot side to get that first tower here. But so far, both are just pushing and pulling, looking for positions on each other. That was a very tense moment for both Navi and Malvinas Gaming.
Huge. That was a huge moment right there, all right? Just a little poke like that can make a huge difference, especially considering that, again, Navi wants to be playing for these objectives that is coming up in 10 seconds. They need to start poking in. They need to start denting this huge threat in Malvinas Gaming. If not, again, like I said, it is just going to be an all-out fight, but Navi, they've chosen to go bot side.
Here comes the Circling Eagle to get onto Adrian as they dive in straight away. Demonic Force happens once, but can they get it a second time? No, they don't find him. Wrong target, Lil. He goes down. Nagib is the next to fall, and even though he drops his ult, is not in time to get Lil back up to get into that fight. Oh, that's so unfortunate here. Good punish coming in from either side, but notice on top, they're already getting an initial push.
As I said, guys, Navi, what they want to do is use the Faramis to control neutral objectives. What they don't want is to go in like that. It's not good whatsoever. Remember, Malvinas Gaming, their composition is really good on that disengage. With Deadly Catch, you dive in, you're going to get bursted down, all right? That is not good at all. And Navi, they need to start getting disciplined here, all right? The win condition is just not by going for the fights under the turret. That altar becomes completely useless in that way.
Yeah, you don't understand. They have the big one. They know that they are tanky, but not under the turret. They were so focused into taking down Adrian, and even though they were able to get the kill to Adrian, they traded for 2.
Here comes Sawa once again, engaging on towards Harley's side. Demonic Force is going to force him out. He's going to go straight on top of him. Can he secure the kill? Does he have Asterisk? I know, not in time. Steffi gets on top of him. Good law and order to buy some time, but Sawa saves his life. He makes it out, and there goes Glue, who dies over the farmist down as Nagib does the job.
Look at Adrian though, all the while they have not just been Sarah go for the fight at the top side. It is actually still Adrian reading out the positioning really well right here, but Nagib is waiting in that bush. Adrian, he needs to be careful right now, the damage comes through.
Can be pulled back now, it will not be the case. So, NAVI, with all due fairness, they were able to get the turtle, a big objective, and this is what Mirko was trying to say. Neutral objectives is the key.
Yes.
I want to say though, Steffi played that well. He popped the Glorious Pathway and also clipped that Phobius as he jumped. If not for the great guiding wind coming out from Sawo, I'm pretty sure that Lil will be duly punished as he was stunned under the second tier turret of Malvinas. Wonderful play coming out from Steffi, but even better, the guiding wind coming out from Sawo.
Yep, they're just shutting down Sing as well as Lil. Both sides taking a lot of damage, and you know they have some very good counterplay, but Quinn is getting stronger and stronger. Those deadly catches, the more effective. Wait, hold on. Steffi is going to try and zone them out to actually trade that top tier 1 for bottom tier 1. Both sides not giving each other an inch.
It's really good. It's really, really good right now. Again, not as Vincer, they noticed that they were making a mistake by not going for the turtles, by not going for the control onto the neutral objective. But now you can see it's like night and day, man. It's night and day. When they play onto neutral grounds, they will get every single team fights. And MVG, they're forced to go for these team fights as well because that is their playstyle. And I really like it right now with the Mountain Shocker just giving out so much poke. Now, let's take a look at the items once again. Harley has started to scale. That Lightning Truncheon and the Clock of Destiny that has been stacking up. It is going to be really good, especially considering that Adrian is also on the way to that Thunder's Belt.
I'm really just so happy to see that it's really even across the map. I mean, there's a little bit of gold lead for Navi, but it's almost all the same. And even the junglers, as you're seeing, they went in for the same set of items as their first 2 items. Like the War Axe into the Blade of Despair means that they really just want to deal the damage against heroes when it comes to the poke, but most importantly, focus on taking those objectives. And so far, Navi has been pretty good at taking these turtles, 3 turtles to 0.
They've been doing a really good job overall, but now Malvinas Game wants to go for bigger fish. They want to get the Lord this time around, but every single time you see the Mountain Chakra, they start backing away, and they keep recently purchasing the Glaive. It's going to be tough, especially for Sing, who's been punished by Nagib multiple times at this point.
It's just not possible for Malvinas Gaming to go for these neutral objectives. What they need to do at this point is either look for a pick first before they go into that neutral objective fight, or they just completely ignore it and go for the turrets, go for the objectives. Because again, in these situations, or maybe they can just catch the game before it even starts.
Oh, Lord takes him out, but there goes Steffi. They trade 1 for 1 so far as Sawo goes in on towards Quinn's side, but Lil can't get onto the fight just yet. It's not looking good so far, and Nagib continuing to be an absolute nuisance for the time being, but here it comes. Sing, he's back. Nagib is already in shreds down. Oh, the split slit. Lord has been slain by Malvinas Gaming, but Defender is looking to punish anybody as he goes in for the flank. Falling Star Moon gets on top of Queen, and it's not looking good so far. Sawo is going to ensure that the chase will continue. Sunset Lover doesn't want to go any further than this. Is Harley. He's going to get out of the Wings by Wings, but the Asterisk Eye is going to take him outside of the map.
That was beautiful by Malvinas at first, but Navi finishes it off with a banger of a fight, man. They played it perfectly. Even though it was Nagib picked off, right? Nagib was picked off, but the members of Navi, they know how to play it, and they're going to go in again.
Yep, on top of Adrian so far, it's going to be the Glorious Pathway that gives him that space, but Defender is so strong right now. But where is Farmers? Where is Nagib? Can he get on top of Sing? No, it really does not matter. He's already given up his life, and now he can only do it a little too late. The timing of his death, a little too much. But with Lord pushing, Navi has to back away, deal with the situation.
Such a close game. Imagine this, Navi committing the mistake, just really jumping in front of Malvinas. Malvinas punishing them for it, eventually gets the Lord. And then Navi, because Nagib, because of his passive already, was up already even after the death, they were able to just pull it through. I mean, obviously Malvinas still takes out the Lord because of the Farsa, but he still recovered. And Sing, knowing that there's no Fire Mist in here, will try to go for the play, but really punished by NAVI.
Nah, he's sacrificing his life. He wants Malvinas to finally start closing up this gold gap here in the mid-tier 1. And maybe even the purple. Is he going to get the purple? Yep, he gets the purple as well as the next tier 2 on top side.
This is why I'm saying it's very crucial to just let Nagib live. Nagib needs to live through all of the team fights, right? He needs, not live, but they need to pick these fights really, really well. Because without that ulter, especially when it's misplaced like that in that mid lane, basically that ulter is useless. Again, they ulted inside of turret range. You're just going to be constantly dying over and over. You don't have that much time to deal damage. You don't have that much time to look for more because again, the enemy is already at their territory. What you need to do is force Malvinas out of their base. In that moment, you will get these literal good fights, easy fights for you. But if not, Malvinas, again and again, you get Nagib, you get the game. Yeah. They become so confident when Nagib dies.
Exactly. And Malvinas, now it is time for them to group up for sure. They already have the items, they already have the openings, maybe utilize their glue now, but it makes it so, I mean, the Fire Mist just makes it so difficult for Sing to play. And even the team that utilized this Fire Mist against the glue was Onyx Philippines, was able to talk to Marky, and the real goal is to it's not really just about the damage you get from the glue. The threat of always having to be a kill threat against the glue, that's really the goal of having the Fire Mist.
Speaking of which, Steffi trying to punish here, but you can see that Navi is going to be walking towards that jungle. Could they potentially catch off Steffi? Here we go. This engagement is about to begin. Your defender comes in with a falling Star Moon catching on to 2. Adrian is going to get bailed out of here. Feathered Airstrike to draw the line on the side with the deadly catch to disengage completely. Sing holding on to his ult for as long as possible, knowing that Nagib is zoning him out. It's a game of rock, paper, scissors.
Double Cursed Helmet coming out from Malvinas Gaming. This is perfect against HP-based heroes. As you can see, that's the tanks coming out from NAVI. Yet to see Radiant Armor picks up on Malvinas Gaming, but they do have Dominance Ice. They are going to go for double Dominance Ice build, but both Sing as well as Steffi, this is going to be crucial against the sustained composition of NAVI. But for NAVI, when it comes to the items, they have damage penetration, the Divine Glaive as well as the Genius One coming out from Nagib. It's going to be scary. That is going to be scary. There's going to be a ton of magic damage that can come out from this hero. And then he also amplifies the damage output eventually of both Esmeralda and the Phoveus.
Man, can we talk about the tension real quick? Man, this is crazy already. Remember, 15 minutes in, very close game. And this is for all the marbles. Whoever loses here, they're going to go home. They're out of the tournament. You can see the pressure. And you can see how hesitant they are even into clashing on these team fights. This is very uncharacteristic of MVG, but this is what they need to do. They can't go in for these crazy fights anymore. As long as Fire Mist still lives, they need to stay consistent, disciplined, waiting for that moment. And honestly, they need to go for that prolonged fight, baiting out that altar. Once you get that altar out of the way, back away, and look for a re-engage when it comes in. Right now, though, this is not what they want to go for because the damage coming from that Yi Sun-shin is huge. It is a full item game at this point, and you do not want to be tanking, soaking all that damage before the Lord even starts to happen.
Half HP Lord.
Here he goes. They're going to start engaging. Adrian is going to get attacked by the Demonic Force here as the Airlines is going to send him all the way to the back. But here comes the Glorious Pathway to try and slow down this engagement. And they find it. They get bait. Deadly Catch is already out and they drop down the altar, but they're moving away. It's going to be the Demonic Force that makes all the difference here as the backline is now gone. It is 3-0 in favor of Navi here. Sawo is bringing in the airplanes to the docks.
Navi, with this, they might have just done it here, guys. This is going to be the one straight push, perhaps. Let's see if the two members can defend. Let's take a look at the base that's getting sieged down, and that ultimate.
Oh no, I think it's over here. Harley's in trouble. He goes down as defender, and Lil finally find the space, and the enablers have done it. Adrian, he's gone. GG, well played as Navi moves on to the next round.
Man, I said it about their drafts. I like it. From that Fire Mist pick, they rounded off. They ended off strong. Oh man, that was overlooked for sure. No one expected the Faramis to come, and that was the main win condition for Na'Vi.
Good old-fashioned peeling coming out from Na'Vi. You see, they popped the Phobius ultimate on the backlines because there are two backliners coming out from the side of Malvinas, both the Farsa as well as the Clint. They are the damage dealers. The fact that they weren't able to supply the damage because both the Hylos and the Bay were far too deep into the Lord Pit, that dissection coming out from Na'Vi allowed them to overwhelm the lineup of Malvinas Gaming.
One more time. Faramis Pride though!
Faramis Pride, and not to mention that Lil finally getting to play the game and making huge impact here. But we have to give honor to these competitors here. Malvinas Gaming put up an amazing show of skill, some macro, and really showing that the West is catching up ever so quickly.
Gonna have to give it to Malvinas as well as Adrian. All of the games in the early stage, it belonged to Malvinas Gaming. They showcased their talent. Maybe the discipline wasn't there yet because of their inexperience, but boy oh boy, you can expect a lot of potential from this team. I really want to see them perform in the international stage for more, but for now, it's Navi to advance.
Well, this is going to be it for them, but let's break down this game. Let's throw it to the L's here. LaFell as well as Leo at the analyst stand.
Navi stays in while Malvinas Gaming has to bow out. Welcome to the analyst stand at your service. My name is Leo.